Some people who used Silk Road didn't just buy things. They disappeared. Their forum accounts went silent. Their posts stopped. Years later, investigators found their names in court documents. Not because they were master criminals, but because they thought anonymity meant safety. From the outside, Silk Road didn't look dangerous. And that's what made it so terrifying. In part 1, we talked about how the dark web isn't automatically illegal. But Silk Road was the moment that illusion completely collapsed. It was the first time that ordinary people realized curiosity alone could have devastating consequences. On the surface, Silk Road looked almost boring. It had product listings, star ratings, and even a system for dispute resolution. It felt like any other e-commerce site. But behind that familiar interface was something entirely new. A global marketplace operating completely outside the view of traditional law enforcement. And that made its users feel untouchable. That feeling spread like wildfire. Then there was the rumor. It circulated quietly on dark web forums. A chilling little whisper. Some users claimed that if you caused trouble, scammed vendors, threatened the admins, or just talked too much, your account wouldn't get banned. It would just stop responding. No explanation, no appeal, just silence. To this day, there is no verified evidence this ever actually happened. But the rumor alone was enough to keep people in line. Fear doesn't need proof. It only needs uncertainty. So why did people trust it? Silk Road wasn't marketed as a criminal platform. The language used was carefully chosen. Words like peaceful, victimless, and anti-violence were everywhere. The founder, who went by the name Dread Pirate Roberts, positioned himself as a libertarian philosopher, not a crime boss. So people didn't feel like they were breaking the law. They felt like they were part of something smarter, a new kind of freedom. But as Silk Road's popularity exploded, another rumor began to spread. This one whispered that law enforcement wasn't just watching transactions. They were mapping behavior. Who logged in and when? Who was talking to whom? Who was making the same small mistakes over and over again? And just like the first rumor, nobody could prove it at the time, which only made the fear worse. Here's what history eventually confirmed. The Tor browser hides your location, but it doesn't erase your patterns. And Bitcoin isn't anonymous. Every transaction is permanently recorded on a public ledger. People weren't caught because they were reckless. They were caught because they were human. They made small, predictable, human errors that left a trail. The end of Silk Road came quietly. The founder was arrested in a public library. His laptop was open, his session still active. There was no dramatic chase, no gunfire. Just the silent, stark realization that the promise of anonymity had already failed long before that final moment. Even years after the site was shut down, the arrests continued. Some people thought they were safe simply because so much time had passed. They were wrong. Digital footprints don't fade the way our memories do. They are permanent. Silk Road, at its core, was about commerce. But what came next, what we'll explore in part 3, is much harder to process. We'll look at cases people still argue about today. We'll uncover stories that were dismissed as urban legends and rumors that simply refuse to die. Some of these things shouldn't be explored out of simple curiosity, and some of them never should have existed at all. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it.